When the day comes, we will not ask whether you swung to the right or whether you swung to the left. We will simply swing you by the neck. This is war.
For all the warnings about and the money spent to prevent terrorism, law enforcement authorities say facts show the greater and more likely threat in this country comes from people like the suspect in this case, people known as lone wolves. America has been plagued for decades by acts of violence attributed to lone wolves.
Is there a doctor in the house?
The assassinations of the 1960s made household names of the men responsible, and the number of men, mostly young, who have sought similar notoriety has only seemed to have increased every year since then.
I think we call them lone wolves because it's like they can't work in the pack. In other words, they can't work in society.
Are there a lot of these lone wolves in this country?
I believe there are thousands of people.
The common theme is not ideology or politics or religion, according to forensic psychiatrist Dr. Michael Weldner of New York University.
The mass shooter will always justify in some righteous or ideological way.
I have been in a not the best place mentally. And...
Now wait a minute, Matt! No! Matt, no!
But at the end of the day, what drives that person is a sense that they had high expectations for themselves.
Because let's face it, there's a lot of people out there that rather see you fail than see you succeed. And that's not something that either of us here agree with, believe with, or want to see happen.
When you use YouTube, you join a community. That's why we have community guidelines. They help us keep YouTube fun and safe for everyone. When people feel content violates our community guidelines, they can report it to YouTube. We call this flagging.
They recognize that they never will amount to everything they dreamed of.
I'm more of ashamed of the fact that, like, I moved to Los Angeles to pursue my career, pursue my dream, which was to be a writer in Hollywood, and fucking failed.
And they choose something that the public has given so much attention to and make a decision at some point, I can be larger than life.
I'm going to sing because I clearly am a whore.
Hiya, Bobby.
Hiya, Ken.
Want to go for a ride?
Sure, Ken.
Jump in.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me anywhere. Imagination is your creation.
And make a decision to destroy the society around them.
Candid allows for that kind of freedom. And in this day and age, we absolutely positively need that kind of anonymity on the internet. Look at Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook. All of these social media sites that were designed to foster freedom of expression, freedom of ideas, and to build a better community have slowly been restricting the flow of information and crafting and controlling a set narrative. Well, Candid basically kicks that to the curb and allows you to just be you.
I clearly am a whore.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me anywhere. Imagination, life is your creation.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Yeah.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Yeah.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
The lone wolf shooters almost always leave behind signals, or now on the internet, video statements.
You're not going to do it. You're not going to win. Because now I'm more determined than ever. And one thing about me is when I get determined on something, I don't f***ing stop. Because I know what I'm doing. I know how to do it. And I'm f***ing good at it. So I guess it really boils down to this. If you really feel like you want to get me, take your best f***ing shot.
Explosive device strapped to a child's head and some razor blades. Shoot children in the head.
He methodically went room to room, and people described him as basically not changing expression, looking at people, because he's not shooting human beings. He's shooting things that have caused him pain and anger.
I don't believe in the silencing of voices. I really believe that you should, like Milo Yiannopoulos says, Let them have a platform to speak, but taking away people's right to speak regardless is not going to solve any problems.
Law enforcement professionals and psychiatrists say another classic lone wolf trait involves sexual dysfunction.
So this video is about how I was kicked out of church at the age of 15 for being a sexual degenerate. Let me take you back to the mid-90s. Living in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, going to church. You know, very much into God, into the whole idea of salvation, redemption, yada, yada, yada. And there was a girl there. Her name was Sonia. She worked in the nursery or the daycare of the church. I had gone back there with her after Sunday school, and I'd put a knife to her throat. And I told her that if she didn't want to fill her belly with my seed, I was going to slice her throat.
Now in Washington, the great fear among law enforcement is of copycat lone wolves.
What can we really do? If you're talking about thousands upon thousands of people out there, it's a scary thought.
In this country, these lone wolves do pose a danger as great as the organized terrorists?
I think there maybe even more so, just because they're here, they're in our communities.
The perpetrators of mass shooting should be remembered as rejects, losers, perverts, because then they won't be copied. That is a key message, not just for the press, but it's a message for teachers, it's a message for neighborhoods, and it's how we as a society can eliminate something that's distinctively American.
Dr. Welner says that is a message not just for the news media, but for teachers and parents and neighborhood leaders as a way to eliminate something he sadly calls distinctly American.
I'm sorry, I'm a soy-filled bitch in flag your videos.
I'm going to tell you about the word Now, these people are lazy, black, ignorant people who don't like to have jobs and usually tries to the system. Most of them live in the hood and are dead, but for the ones that are alive, they like to get out there and rape the women. Now, we don't want them raping no white women, do we?
So right now, I'm out and about playing Pokemon Go. As you can see, it has led me to a cemetery.